Hi guys, my name's Ellie, welcome to my channel. To start off with, my voice is not great. I went to a concert last night, I've already filmed one video like this, and I got really excited. I did a lot of yelling and singing along, so we're not doing so great. But I have things I want to film and stuff I'd like to do with you guys, so hopefully this isn't the worst for you and you can just laugh at me and how ridiculous my horrible voice sounds. I have some water that should help a little bit. But we are mainly here to do a palette focus on the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette. Here's the inside. I thought it would match my look. I have a dress, if I get my boobs up high enough. Yeah, and I don't really have a plan yet, so I'm hoping to just kind of get some stuff on my face. I'll probably keep it kind of light. Like maybe do kind of some of the mauve-y, orangey stuff. Maybe like warm and toasty with one of these. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But, ugh, then it's just not getting any better. And it's probably not going to get better as I talk. So I already have foundation on. I'm going to put some eyeshadow primer on. And I, like you've kind of noticed, tend to talk about stuff while I'm doing these. Today, I want to talk about brands that I stopped buying from and whether or not I'm likely to go back to them. And brands I've never bought from. Specifically, Lime Crime and Deciem. So, I did not get into makeup at the same time as everybody else, so by the time I found out what Lime Crime was, I already knew there was a lot of backlash against it. I'm gonna go in with powdered sugar, my crease to brow bone, like usual. Yeah, so I already had seen that a lot of people didn't like Lime Crime, that they'd said some horrible things. I didn't have specifics, but it was one of those, why mess with it if there's so many people that have what sound like really strong negative opinions. And even then I was like, I don't know what's going on, but let's find out. And I've heard more over the years of a lot of it tends to stem back to, since they were such an indie brand, their founder, Doe Deer, which I don't even know how that's spelled. I don't need to know. That's just a weird name. At least, it's just not what I was expecting. I was just like doe, a deer, a female. Nope, okay. Sometimes my brain just makes ridiculous things and gets stuck on them. So, her name is silly to me. But she's apparently done a lot of really problematic things. I think she was the one who dressed up in a Hitler costume for Halloween. She's been kind of nasty to a lot of people on her social media and stuff. And it's just not been good. I think, let's start with Gingerbread Latte in the crease. Just with a fluffy brush. So yeah, it was one of those, I was interested because a lot of the products looked really cool, but I wasn't into color yet, and just the more I heard about Lime Crime, the more it was one of those, oh, maybe we shouldn't with Lime Crime. Maybe we just shouldn't. That's really nice, this color. I'm gonna layer orange over it, but it's a nice neutral brown that I've blended quite far out. Yeah, so Lime Crime was one of those ones. I kind of went back and forth. I almost bought a couple things, but I didn't, because I was like, you know what? I don't have any Lime Crime yet. I don't need to learn about the formula and find out that it's good, and then have, you know, the guilt of supporting a brand that a lot of people feel really negatively about. And that, you know, the more I find out, the more I'm just like, ooh, I don't need to be involved in that. Ugh. Yeah, the voice is just gonna get worse. So, if any of you guys have ever lost your voice or been in the process of losing your voice, you will learn that talking on it more just makes it worse. So why am I doing this? Because why not? And because I only have so many days to film. I think then I'm going to run over it with Spice is Nice, which is this nice orangey color. So yeah, Lime Crime is something I have never bought from, and I'm alright with that. Deciem is something that I got into, and I was really into. That's quite orange. Oh, it's too late now. We'll match the other side. It'll be better later. So, this orange is, strong. So yeah, Deciem's something I found. They've got a couple brands. I was mainly into The Ordinary, because The Ordinary is the cheap one. I think they have a couple other ones that have gone a little higher in price tag, but Deciem, I didn't see any negative things. The worst, not even worse, the most annoying thing for me was trying to deal with them. It's just getting worse. I'm going to do the same two shades on my lower lash line. The biggest issue for me with Deciem was dealing with the shipping and the fact that they were out of stock a lot. But, like, they were a cute company, they were trying new things, they were bringing a good quality product to market with, like, a decent, like, a nice price range for the consumer that was reasonable, was something that we felt we could afford and we were excited to buy. The only thing that I had the issue with was making sure everything was in stock, because they were a smaller company and they were taking off in popularity at the time. So it was hard for them to keep items in stock. So then they got bought by, or I guess, not them. They got invested in by Estee Lauder. And a lot of people were mad about that. A lot of people were upset about them selling out or having more corporate influence, which they put out a whole thing about how it was just to get some more money into the brand, to... I'm using figgy pudding, by the way. I should tell you what I'm doing. To get some more kind of money flowing through so that they could expand their factory, so they could get something going that was more consistent, that fewer things were going to be out of stock, and that it was going to be a better situation for everybody. So I wasn't mad about that. But then one of the founders and the CEO, I think, Brandon, got a little... He started to... I don't want to say crazy, because that's a rude word to say. We don't know his mental status. We don't know what he's dealing with. That's not our thing. He started to do some erratic behavior and post some stuff that I wasn't really comfortable with him. People in general didn't really feel comfortable with him sharing on social media. Like, he was doing a lot of things that would, in general, probably should have been behind the scenes. This is figgy pudding still, by the way. He was basically doing some sections of his business really, really publicly, and just, like, letting people know that lines were going to be discontinued to that person through Instagram and social media. And there was something about, he was going downhill. And I got kind of uncomfortable supporting the company when it was decent. It looked pretty visible that he was going through something. and needed to seek some professional help or, something. He needed something that I couldn't give him as a consumer. But he also was endangering a lot of jobs by making all this stuff public, by being so out there about certain things. If you were doing a product with him, you wouldn't want to hear about that product being pulled off the shelves through an Instagram post. You would want to be reached out to personally. You'd want to have that connection. So I think I'm going to try Uburn, blend that into Spice of Life, and then Warm and Toasty on the lid. I think that's what we're going to go for. We'll see how much it takes. Let's start with Uburn on the outer edge. Oh, that's nice. It blends in really well with figgy pudding. So yeah, it was one of those things where I felt weird supporting somebody who, because supporting was kind of in my feelings, enabling it, saying it's fine if you melt down, it's fine if you self-destruct, as long as you make the product. And I was feeling really weird about that, so I was like, you know what, let me step away, let me find some different products, because most of my skincare at that point was Deciem. And so I was like, I'm feeling really weird about throwing money at this thing while it continues to get worse, because it was just getting worse. Now we're going to go with Spice of Life. Anyway, I stopped purchasing at that point. Found some other things. That's not going on quite as nice as I'd like it, but it's still there. That's good. Let me just build it a little bit. Anyway, so that's when I stepped away from the brand and did something else. So, Brandon continued to do some stuff for a while, and both Lime Crime and Deciem are in different management now. And that's what I very slowly got around to, but wanted to talk about was, do the changes made to the companies make you feel more comfortable buying from them? Because I had never bought from Lime Crime. I'm still interested. I'm curious as to what their formula is like. I'd be interested in trying them, because it was apparently good enough that some people would continue to buy, even though, they were aware. They weren't necessarily even supporting the controversies. They were just, saying, but the product is so good. So, I don't know, particularly because some of the things are not my place. Her being anti-Semitic with that Hitler costume. I'm not Jewish, so I don't necessarily know if I get to decide if that's alright, because that's not an attack against me. I have German heritage, so I'm really uncomfortable anytime somebody brings up Nazis as a joke, because that's a horrifying, just bad thing where it's very shameful. Please don't mention it. Please can Nazis just die off and be gone? But it's an anti-Semitic thing, not an anti-German thing, so I don't get to make that choice as to if we accept that. That's somebody else's thing, and I haven't heard back on their opinion yet. But yeah, so I don't know if I want to try Lime Crime, because it's still benefiting Doe Deer. She's still the CEO, or not CEO. She's still getting a section of the profits. That's what I was talking about. So she's still going to benefit from these purchases. It's just not going to be as much of her creative decision what they do. And with Brandon being removed as CEO, because Estee Lauder sued and got him removed so that they could continue to make products. I don't know how I feel about that, because it doesn't mean he got help. It doesn't mean that somebody's helping him with whatever he was needing, because a lot of things like these are cries for help. They are somebody saying, if I do something erratically, somebody will notice and somebody will help me. And him being removed doesn't guarantee somebody's going to help him. And we haven't seen that yet. So I don't know how I feel about shifts in structure of the company, whether or not they're actually fixing problems. Because this is different than saying, oh, Brandon's reached out, he's set himself up with a facility or a therapist or some kind of mental health provider to figure what is going out. He's getting treatment, he's getting help. For all we know, he's just been taken out of the driver's seat. That doesn't mean somebody's helping him. That doesn't mean that Limecrine is good now because, Doe Deer's not handling social media. You'd still be giving money to her when you buy. So I don't know where you stop that as well, though, because, like Too Faced, I'm not the biggest fan of Jared, but these products are generally quite gorgeous. And he's had his controversies as well. So what is the point that we decide we are supporting things and, oh, well, that's just not my business? What is it for you? Somebody chat me up in the comments and tell me how you feel about Limecrine and Deciem are my most current right now. Too Faced, I don't like remembering that Jared's really associated with the brand, but he makes some really good products, and he's calmed down. I think a lot of that controversy is Jared is more of, I don't think I'd want to be hanging out and friends with Jared, and his sister sounds very scary. I'm going to take some spiked eggnog in the inner corner. But it's not him, like Kat Von D. I'm upset about her for anti-vax things. Not because I think she's an annoying person. I do kind of think she's an annoying person, but I thought that back when I was still buying her products. So, where do you draw the line of far enough up the chain this is where I stop caring about who's in charge and what the goals of the company are? Because Estee Lauder removing Brandon, yes, it keeps the company going and it ensures that people have jobs and livelihood, which was part of my concern, is that if he kept going the way he was, that something really bad was going to happen to the company, and people that rely on it for a livelihood, they're employed at the factories, they're in the all the different parts of the company. He jeopardizes that every time he went on one of those rants, or just in general. Shutting down the company is not necessarily a good move. But just removing him and pretending like that's fine, that doesn't fix what he's going through and get him any help. Yeah, so I don't know where is the spot that you end with, because I'm sure Estee Lauder has all sorts of stuff that I don't know about that they've done that's problematic. And even then, I think Estee Lauder is also owned by somebody else. There's a lot of, this company, this social media platform is actually part of this thing, which has this social media thing, and then is owned by this. If you go far enough up, it's probably some creepy old white guy who you wouldn't want to support getting a good chunk of your money. And I don't know how I feel about that. And I don't know where to set those limits and where to set the differences with the company. Because I would be interested in trying Limecrine. I'm trying to buy less, so I'm using currently the fact that some of the money still goes to Doe Deer as an excuse. I would be interested in trying Deciem again because I really liked a lot of their products. I probably had more than I needed, but I would enjoy having some of those items back because I haven't found cost-effective replacements for all of them. I have a decent skincare routine, but I don't have some of the things. Like the retinol was really good. We're moving into winter, and the hyaluronic acid serum would be fantastic. But I don't know if the Band-Aid we threw at the situation, or they did because I had nothing to do with it, is a good enough fix to allow me to buy the products anymore. So, tell me down below some of the things that you've either purposely not purchased or stopped purchasing, and of the things that have changed with that company or situation since, are they good enough to make you purchase again? Are you likely to keep purchasing Deciem, or are you going to stop? Are you going to start again? Do you have any Limekime products, and how do you feel about them playing it up like it's this whole big thing that she's out, but she's still getting a good chunk of the money? Which, if you don't want to buy Limekime because you don't want to support Doe Deer, you still can't buy Limekime. So yeah, tell me about that. I'm going to finish up my face. I really like it. I'm going to have 5 seconds about this palette. This is really, really pretty. It's very, very nice. It's a very nice color scheme, I feel. Like Sweet Peach, only deeper. And I was really hoping, because I had talked myself out of this palette. I saw a review and it looked like this palette was going to be closer to their standard holiday quality, which is not bad, but not very good compared to their standard normal quality. And so I was like, okay, it looks like it's bad, it looks like it's fine. I talked myself out of it. I bought different eyeshadow, being like, okay, well, I didn't buy that, so I'm going to buy this indie brand again. So I have some products coming in to test out from a different indie brand that I'm excited about. And then I swatched it in store. I should never have touched it, but I swatched it and I saw that it was a good quality, or at least what I felt was going to be good quality. So I ordered it. And it is. I like it. I think the products are pigmented, they blend well, they apply well, they stick down quite well. I think this is closer to the quality of the chocolate gold palette. Yes, that palette, and I really like that formula from Too Faced. So we're gonna do more with it later, but I really like it. It turned out really big with the oranginess, but I like it. I'm back. This is the finished look. I like it a lot. I feel very pretty, very fall. Yeah, so I do want to play more with this palette. It's so far done really, really well. It's swatched really nicely too. And I really like the shades. I think there are a lot of things I can use in my day-to-day life, especially with fall. I can wear them to the office. That is much appreciated. Yeah, and they've got a lot of pigment and a lot of blending ability. So, yeah. This is my palette focus of the Gingerbread Spice palette. And on brands and where we feel and what does and doesn't need to change for us to buy from them again and support them. Help me out, because there's some brands that I'm like, just fine never doing it. I don't need to support Jeffree Star, I don't need to support Kat Von D, but we get into stuff like Limekime where I probably still am not going to, but I feel like a lot of people are leaning back into supporting them, and I don't know what the barrier is there for you guys, if you want to fill me in. And Deciem. That one I have a lot of conflicted feelings on, because I would like to use the products again. They're really good. They're a really good quality product. They're a great price range, but I don't think we fixed the problem. I don't think Brandon's getting any help. And I think that is my big concern, is that we will sweep whatever he's going through under the rug to keep making products, and it's not going to get addressed. And it could be not mental health related, it could be something else, but he's going through something that's not going well for him, and nobody seems to be doing anything for him. And yes, I understand keeping the factories going and the products coming out is good for everybody else involved, because they have jobs, they have livelihoods, and having that stability is important. But I would really like to see something else being done to help Brandon figure out what he's going through, because it's just not. It's maybe him being removed will give him more time to get it, but I think he might be at a point where if somebody doesn't kind of step in and help him get it, he's not going to get it on his own. A lot of people don't want to get help on their own. Sometimes it takes a friend or a family member or somebody saying, hey, we're going here, get in the fucking car, we're gonna go meet somebody and start making a path towards getting better. And as somebody who works in the mental health field, you need to get it. Like, if you're going through something, doing it on your own is really just not good. It's not something that works for most people. Just find a therapist, find somebody, even if it's just a friend, and talking to that person. Reach out, get some help, and you can kind of start to gauge if it is something where you just need some extra time to yourself to kind of balance your stuff, or if you really do need to find a psychiatrist, a therapist, a psychologist, somebody to help you with either properly medicating it, finding a support structure, finding different ways to deal with your things, because not all the treatment needs to be medical or pharmacology based. Some of it is just getting to the right point mentally and getting there in your thought process. And I think that this was a chance for somebody to help Brandon, and it's not happening. So, yeah, apparently I'm very upset about that. So, chat me up down below. Let me know your opinions. Hopefully you enjoyed at least seeing the colors go on my face. Also, let me know what kind of holiday releases you're interested in. I have a couple that are really tempting me, this being one of them that I caved on. But yeah, it's always fun to talk about what we are and aren't interested in makeup. And what need to be fixed and doesn't need to be fixed, and what does count for problematic makeup brands and brands in general. Thank you guys. This was kind of a downer, I'm sure. I'm gonna go have date night with my boyfriend, and I'll see you guys next time.